So today I'd like to welcome Emily Yates, Smart City Director in the City of Philadelphia, to discuss her efforts there and the projects she's been working on both prior to the emergence of COVID-19 and how these projects have kind of gathered momentum since and become even more timely now. So welcome, Emily. Thank you so much for being here and joining us.
Thank you. I'm excited to chat with you.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So I'm going to start by asking you a little bit about something that we talked about the last time we talked for a story, and that is you told me about some of these pilot projects for the city that you were working on. And recently when we talked, you said some of them became even more sort of timely and prescient as a result of the emergence of COVID-19. So can you talk about some of those pilots that are ongoing?
Yeah, I would be happy to. I think first, I want to say, like every city, Philadelphia has been incredibly busy responding to the challenges of COVID on the community and the healthcare industry. We've been working regionally and sharing data, and it's just been amazing to see how my colleagues have been able to address those challenges in the health department and our Office of Emergency Management and whatnot. And as quarantine kicked in, I really found myself having a little bit more time, at least in the beginning, not anymore, but to really think about, in this new post-COVID space, how can technology and data really have an impact that will allow us to pivot from being responsive to strategic, and so really thinking more long-term. And I think that tied in nicely to some of the work that we were doing in advance of COVID. And so I had some, one of the best things that came out of kind of going into quarantine early on was the conversations I was having with my colleagues and my network around, like, what is our new role in this space of this kind of COVID? What is it amplified, and how can our technologies pivot? How can we use data to make more informed decisions? But also, how can we address some of these challenges that have been amplified by COVID? So budget cuts. We had a severe budget cut to the City of Philadelphia's budget, which means, a lot of the things that were on tap to be done couldn't move forward as anticipated. But then also these equity issues that we start to see come up, and then were exacerbated by like the Black Lives Matter protests. And my focus became much more of pushing forward pilots that really could help address these budget issues, or that could have a higher ROI from multiple departments. So I really wanted to make sure that what I was driving forward as pilot opportunities weren't just for one department, but could really have impact and be utilized by multiple departments. And I felt like that was a great way of addressing this.